So don't forget to follow me on Instagram, High Carb Health. Hit the follow button and click on the green H to see what I get up to. What I eat, what I do, it's all here. You can follow me on what I eat as well. So check it out, guys. Hi everyone, welcome to another video, and today we're talking to Dr. Renae Thomas about living in a blue zone. And Dr. Renae is at the University of Loma Linda?
Yeah, so it's Loma Linda University Health, incorporating Loma Linda University Hospital. We have a couple of different campuses, outpatient clinics, kind of big.
Yeah, big. And you're doing a lot of work with people who are in the Seventh-day Adventist community, and I'll let you talk about it, but this is almost a very amazing type of population group where, you know, almost half of them are plant-based and the other half aren't. And there's been a whole lot of research that's come out of this group that we use today. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about some of the things you've seen, and talk to us about blue zones as well, because some people might not be aware of what a blue zone is.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start with the blue zone. So the term is probably popularized the most by the book by Dan Buettner, where his research involved visiting what we call blue zones, or areas in the world where they have the greatest percentage of population living to be a centenarian or over 100. The key point I like to emphasize, because in medical world, we're really good at keeping people alive, but what they actually have is good health well into their 90s or 100s. And that is pretty key for people. Like, I don't think anyone wants to live forever if you're sick the whole time. That's a big focus. And so what he tried to look at, well, what are the key factors in these communities that are leading to these outcomes of good health and longevity? So Loma Linda is identified as one. It's the only one in the United States. Key factors that have been found, they follow a predominantly plant-based diet, high intakes of soy foods and whole grains, and then they have a strong faith and community base. And that's a big part that will tie into what you were saying about the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But that's a big part of it. Regular physical activity and just a real sense of purpose. And that's really what I think contributes. If I had to pick one point, I really do feel a sense of purpose is really, really important. So flipping then over to what you were saying, that they are Seventh-day Adventists, that is the majority of the community. And I am not an expert in their faith whatsoever. However, I've learned an awful lot being there and been inspired by a lot of it. And I actually live very much in line with their beliefs. But there is a real focus, Ellen G. White, one of the founders, it's a big focus on the body as the temple. You know, you've been given a great body from God, and take care of it and optimize it so that you then can live your purpose and help others and do mission work. Because if you're not healthy, you know, the whole fit your own oxygen mask first, right? And so that in their faith base ties quite often into minimizing the amount of animal products in the diet, being physically active, avoiding, you know, processed and heavy unhealthful foods, abstaining from alcohol and caffeine, and really just optimizing your health. Now, the thing that's so interesting about this group for studying them is about 50% follow the plant-based recommendation, but almost 100% follow the other ones. So a lot of confounding factors that come up in other studies, such as smoking status, caffeine intake, alcohol intake, and physical activity, kind of creates a pretty cool, almost randomized controlled trial. It's not, maybe controlled trial, but essentially it's an epidemiological study. But you kind of create that, and you can compare diets quite easily between the groups. And it's been going on for a long time, thousands and thousands of people involved in this study. And we start to see trends and patterns in both disease prevention, relapse prevention of disease, and health outcomes. And it's actually really, really inspiring. And it's, you know, one of the main reasons I moved there to learn more. And it is really one of the foundations of my clinical practice, is knowing these results.
That's amazing. And so talk about the results. What do you see between the two? What do you see that happens when people eat a more plant-based diet and when they don't?
So it's not exact in every single disease. However, the majority of the big guns, we're talking diabetes, cancer, hypertension or high blood pressure, obesity, and all-cause mortality, or basically everything that can make you die. When you look at the graphs of the data, you see a stepwise progression in the incidence of disease as the diet trends from what they define it as a vegan or entirely plant-based diet, stepping to a vegetarian diet, so incorporating some dairy products, some eggs, then moving to a pescatarian diet or adding eggs, a semi-vegetarian diet being those that consume animal products, say less than 3 times a week, and then just your typical omnivorous diet, which I think is really important to highlight in the Adventist population, is that these are not adults consuming the standard American or standard Australian diet. These are health conscious individuals. So probably a lot of people, especially in Australia, most people think they eat very well. These people actually do eat relatively well in terms of the dietary guidelines. They consume relatively small amounts of meat compared to the population. It's in the realm of less than 10% for a meat consumer in the Adventist population, and dairy is around 12%. They are still consuming at least 50% on average of their dietary intake from fruits and vegetables. That is your typical Loma Linda centenarian, what they ate over the course of their life. So to get such dramatic results between these groups really emphasizes the power of a plant-based diet, because they really weren't having that much of the so-called damaging food. So it's really inspiring. But you literally see a stepwise progression as you move away from plant-based, as you move towards the omnivorous diet. It's remarkable. Building on one of the statistics that just blows my mind, you know, what's the biggest problem in America right now? Really, obesity. And it's not the aesthetics. It's not looking good in a bikini. It's the pro-inflammatory state that carrying excess fat is hormonally active, pro-inflammatory. So it's not that I'm being judgmental on weight. I'm totally supportive, and I want people to come and see me regardless of your weight. But it's recognizing that it is a public health problem. And in the Adventist health studies, the only group that fell within what we call the healthy body mass index. Yes, it can be flawed, it can be skewed by muscle mass, but on a population level, it's probably the best indication of weight we have. The only group that fell into a healthy BMI on average was the entirely plant-based or vegan group. Like you hear from Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Cadwell Asselstein with their heart disease, if all a plant-based diet can do is prevent and reverse heart disease, why wouldn't you follow it? I have the flip argument in the United States. If we can prevent and reverse obesity, could you imagine the health of the United States? And this can easily be applied to Australia or New Zealand or really any Western country and any emerging country that's transitioning to a more Western diet. They're having the same problems. If we could fix the weight problem in the world, like, wow.
Yeah, I think they're all linked, aren't they? I think that's the best way to leave it, you know. If that's all a plant-based diet can do, shouldn't that be the default diet until proven otherwise?
Basically.
And we're Dr. Gregory who says that.
I know, I love it. And we're seeing it for all the conditions I mentioned. And there's small break-off studies from the Adventist Health looking at autoimmune or rheumatoid. You know, we definitely know there's less autoimmune, and that would include for your channel inflammatory bowel diseases. They're grouped under autoimmune. We're seeing less rheumatoid. We're seeing lots of, you know, even infectious diseases seem to be lower. Just a lot of things, but they're very small and early studies, but inspiring to see.
Well, again, an amazing insight, and I think you're doing great work, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot that comes out of it. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And it was really nice to hear your talk yesterday. And do stay in touch.
That's it.
And hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.